African countries. Now, where is our stand in this youth football? Because now we are down. See, now the under 17s are 10 African countries, and Nigeria and Ghana are not even making it into the tournaments proper.
But Ghana has qualified to the next under 17 AFCON, so hopefully they should qualify to the World Cup from there.
We've not played the tournament yet later.
And that's what I'm saying, that hopefully. So the under 17 AFCON is next year. And to qualify for the World Cup, you just have to finish first or second in your group and you are there. So let us hope Ghana can make it.
We've seen the players that they went to play in Cote d'Ivoire. We hope they will not temper with that squad and go and bring another brand new squad that will take it to the AFCON.
It can happen. So what if by then some of the players are 17? It means that they will have to be changed.
So all of them are 17?
No, I didn't say all of them. I said that what if by next year somebody who was 16 and was part of the squad is 17? You can't go to the under 17 when you are 17.
When you are 17 years.
You can't go. You have to go when you are under 17.
Yeah, I know there will be some changes, but we shouldn't see a totally different thing. Okay. We know our people.
Okay.
We know them. See, these Moroccans, they know what they are doing. They know what they are doing. They have structures everywhere in the world. Like this would they are serious in everything they are doing.
But I understand you. But you see, Emmanuel, at least this is the first time Morocco has won anything that FIFA has organized. So I guess it takes time, right? So we also have to keep pushing.
Yeah. That show you that they are improving. They are improving. And we say we are always relying on past goals. Oh, Ghana. Oh, we do some before. In the 60 years. Matter, you win 2009. You see us. It is you will win. It is you will be the only person who will win the under 20 after 2009. A brother in Ghana after 2009. A brother in Ayabo. And you be sitting there. Oh, every year, then 60 years, 70 years. They think that someone will not come and win when they are doing their things right.
Well,
this country, you have a long way to go. Very, very long way to go later. You are not doing football in this country, but we say it every time. You are not doing football.
Okay.
You are not doing football. Look at our pitches. We can't even get a modern stadium in Ghana here. Just one modern stadium. You can't even get it. So what are we doing as a nation? Total disaster. What kind of country is this?
Okay, Emmanuel. Let me bring that
sometimes when we see the structure of Ghana, Charlie, what Nkrumah was wanted to bring, and our leaders come and now they are not doing anything. They are just using the money to do some. I don't understand. They are talking about health and education, and those places too. We have not even seen any improvement in those places.
Okay.
Health,
all right.
Basa. Okay. Education, Basa.
Okay. Emmanuel, let me bring other callers. Let me bring other callers in.
Big shout out to Yamori.
Okay, all right.
Big shout out to Yamori.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. 7:38. Let's take more calls. 054-257-1061. Or you can call the other number 030-279-4805. Or you can send us a WhatsApp message on the same number 054-257-1061. What do you want to react to this morning? Is it Asante Kotoko losing to WAC? Is it Hearts of Oak winning a game on the road? Hearts scoring 2 goals? What about Morocco winning the Under-20 World Cup? What about the Premier League and all of that? Let me know what you think. Let me take this caller. Hello?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
I'm Dada calling from Life Especially.
All right, please go ahead.
Sporty FM, the voice of
the last time I say I was young blasters. What do you go Facebook, my mouth for trouble me?
Who did that?
And then come me when you comment was your crab. The next day, Miss Frey and one picking the corner, he went to react to that. 10 round with Sarah on soon local blaster crowd. You look at blaster crowd on soon local blasters. And now here game.
Then I'm a game.
Kotoko players, we players I from Black Stars. Oh, 2 for amount for this game. What to say within your bosom? Near the bosom bubble. By scarcity, not top quality players, not for mobile ball. Then we say yes, all the players, the bobo. General chest, keeper. The keeper will never the Casare, they were in the papa. By scarcity, most always go in his own also. For scarcity, not top quality players. Emma or Momo Bon, no man, anymore, Yamla Kotoko. What was the we move back to the American Kwano, which the Wakana amount for trouble. Mr. The last amount for trouble, more Facebook.
Sorry about that, but well, sorry about that.
Because my voice in the down amount for comment. And you better,
so someone who's saying you better.
Yes,
I'm not supporting it, but me can't see. Say who? But nasa munyaya sa. Yes, sir. Meanwhile, be asema Chelsea ni man na omundi kroma se ba munyaya mudi atem sa. Obi kwase onyame obekume. I'm just saying comments bebre. There ni empty chrome has say time be me say Chelsea for beshe man you obi si mewu. Obi si mewu I mean the 50 years. Nyame mpem. I'm not condoned, but I'm trying to let you understand. So see who say it's only football, but see who baby the conversation neko. So they'll feel hit ni Accra no enya de. But a lot of the listeners and remote here you can be a obi o ha ya fa 10-second clip ni abeto so uni ma asem a ye ka hey ni ya tiesim Raymond Yamado we are journalist fun see Sporty FM aden ma fa akwa we abetna ha. Sorry about that I reach, but sorry about that.
But I the way they cry, but you know, every yes, so more country Kotoko for no to players papa fashion. Now Mbogo Africa they are first in coaching go. Kali you to obey your office do destiny. This is you cost that now don't when you be with that for no. Chairman.
You beat what is in front of you. Dreams got their chance. And we do semi-final.
Well, when you want either 4 or 5 or has to focus in the BBC, there 4 or 5 for the already account.
Okay, you that are rich. Thank you for calling. All right, 7:43. Look, I'm not condoning attacks or anything, but anyway, let me take this caller. Hello.
Good morning, Nathan.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, so this is Tete from Lakeside.
All right, please go ahead.
Okay, so for me, this weekend was one of my best weekends.
Okay.
Yeah, one of my very best weekends. The only weekend that 3 of my teams won, and I'm so elated. Accra won, Manchester United won, AC Milan won, and I'm so super excited.
How often does it happen?
Oh, it doesn't. Honestly, for the past month, for some reason, when House of Hope wins, Manchester United will just drop the ball. Or when Manchester United wins, House of Hope drop the ball. I saw AC Milan in between. So for me, it's been a very long time. I haven't seen this happen in a very, very long time. Now for AC Milan, I'm happy with the experiment Allegri is doing, playing Leao as a false 9. I don't know how effective it will be in other games because Leao doesn't give you what a typical number 9 will give you, but he's going to make runs outside defenders, which will bring others into the game. So for that experiment, it's okay, but I think he might be found out in other games. But I will take it match after match. As for House of Hope, after the top 4. The standard had dropped, honestly, it has. And you could see players struggling to make 3-yard passes, 5-yard passes. Even when they are crossing balls, they don't find their targets. It was very frustrating. It was yesterday that I actually saw some semblance of what they played during the top 4 and all that. And I liked it. They applied themselves. They did what they had to do, and they got the goal. Now, Manchester United, I was so happy. You see, United might not have the best of players, but what they are lacking in players, if they put effort, it will close the gap a bit. And yesterday, you could see that they applied themselves, they put effort, and it closed the gap. So, yes, Liverpool may have had, there are some good chances and all that. But you see, when you make your own luck, sometimes luck also smiles on you. So, yesterday, you could see that they applied themselves, they made their own luck. And luck had no other option than to smile on United. And I was very happy about that. Now, this Mason Mount has been, in fact, he's been key to what Amorim is doing this past few matches, and I'm so happy for him that the guy is pressing, he's making, causing nuisance all over the pitch. He's the beginning of what the front press. I'm so happy about it. Also, Cunha needs to calm down. He's trying to do too much, in my opinion. I don't know if this tag of, big boy move is weighing on him because he's trying to do too many things. Taking shots from where he shouldn't be doing.
It's because he hasn't scored. Such players, once they score, they will calm down. Such players need goals to give them confidence.
He needs to calm down. He needs to calm down. At least, even if you create an assist, we'll take it. Calm down. But he's a baller. The guy is a baller. The last part of the 10 minutes, he held on to the ball well. He protected the ball well. And United, I think they deserve everything they got yesterday. So, super weekend and super week ahead. Thank you, Nathan.
All right, thank you so much. 7:46. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. You can equally send us a WhatsApp message. Now, for our listeners, there's a very interesting video on our feed, on our X handle. 2 young boxers in a ring going at each other. It was part of last week's engagement between the Ghana Amateur Boxing Federation and their French counterparts. You should see the video. 2 young boxers, I'm sure they're about 7 or 8, and they are in the ring showing a lot of skill and talent. Wonderful. All right, let me take some calls. 7:47. I think we have a caller on the line. Hello.
Hello, Nathan. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is Asante from okay. I'll run on about.
All right, no problem. Let's hear from you.
So 2 issues this morning. One is with Asante.
Okay.
I think our clubs are not learning from this African experience. As season goes, you recruit 18, 19 players. After the season, you sack everybody and rebuild. You saw how the Moroccans came here to play. That is how they play when they go away. They will frustrate you, get a good results, and when you come to their home, they will do with you. So our class needs to learn to invest if they really want to have a meaningful impact in Africa. Secondly, Morocco. At least they've done well. It shows if you invest in the game, you are going to reap results. We've seen it will be under 17s, under 20s, the women football. And they've made Africa proud. At least we have a brother who has also won the under 20. I'm happy it's not Nigeria.
You're happy it's not Nigeria?
Yes. They would have made a lot of noise. But with Morocco, I think the FA has to learn. You have to learn from them. The senior team was in the semi-finals of the World Cup. And now the under 20 have won the World Cup. What are they doing right? We have to learn.
What are they doing right?
Yes.
That's 2 things. They are just doing 2 things right.
And what?
Just 2 things. It's money, right? Money and a plan. No, 3 things. Money, plan, commitment. That is all.
And what are our people doing?
We'll have to wait and see. They say that we are also taking baby steps. So hopefully we should see the fruits bearing. We should see the fruits on the tree in a bit. But the Moroccans have had to work at it for a while before getting here. So we also have to work.
They are doing well, and I think they are hosting the under 17 World Cup.
Yes, they are hosting the Under-17 Women's World Cup currently. Yes, that is very true.
So it seems everything is moving on right for them. And our people need to learn from them. We should forget about this European countries. Learn from your fellow brother.
Everybody's formula is the same. So you need the money and a plan and a commitment to use the two well.
And I believe we have the money.
Okay.
We are not using it right.
Okay.
Look at what man. It could have been a very good project where we can have our national teams have their training and everything. We can do it. It's nothing complex. But look at what they have done. Wasting money. So I'm just hoping we will learn from what Morocco are doing. Have a good morning.
All right. Thank you so much. 7:51. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. All right, let me give you two quick bits of breaking news. Graham Potter has been appointed the new head coach of the Swedish national team. He's gone back to a country he's very, very familiar with. Graham Potter's football ideology was basically shaped in Sweden, so he's gone back there. And then Sean Dyche has verbally agreed to be the next Nottingham Forest manager. So those are some tidbits for you to take note of. Let me take this caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, I'm Clement from Kotoko.
All right, please go ahead.
You know, I was very, very happy for Morocco's win yesterday. We were having a discussion here, and others were saying that when you want to win the World Cup, you have to keep on knocking. But first timers do not have chance. And I was like, I've seen this Morocco team and how they are playing. It was very, very scary. They only lost one match, and Argentina was unbeaten. So going to face them, you would even be shaking. But the Moroccan guys had they played yesterday. I think they were already matured, like the maturity was there, and they knew what they were going in for. They are living in past glory since 2009. And you know, yesterday I was watching the Kotoko, Kotoko game, and I was like, oh, right, we are here. Though we want the local players to get on the bigger stage, but when they get to Africa, they are not proving themselves.
Okay.
After the red card, that's when they realize that after the red card, that's when they realize that they are to play better. But it was too late. It was too late, and I pray those in charge of our stadiums and everything. I don't know if it's by intention. Someone is there for the stadium to deteriorate before they will come in with money for that person to do something on it. Because instead of them to take care of the stadium, they want it to degrade before they will do something, because they say, yeah, Obi has a kind of so everybody but God be with us. Thank you.
All right. 7:53. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. Give me a call, 054-257-1061 or 030-279-4805. 030-279-4805. You can equally send me a WhatsApp message on 054-257-1061. As I said, if you go to our X handle, at SportyFM_, there's a brilliant video of two young boxers in the ring. I love the video so much. One of them in a blue outfit, the other in a red outfit, and they're just slugging it out in the ring. I love it. It's just wonderful. You can find that video on our X handle, at SportyFM_. Let me take this caller. Hello.
Hello, Ethan. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
It's me, Patozi.
Yes. All right, please go ahead.
So before I go on, I have a small song. So it's like Noni Kotoko Kebaye, Beyaye. Noni Kotoko Kebaye, Beyaye. Beyaye, Beyaye, Beyaye. Noni Kotoko Kebaye, Beyaye.
Why? What have Kotoko done? What have they done again?
Friends of Wydad, friends of work. Ameke in the drone, like
what parts of folk did you see in this country? Hey, these people were doing videos showing where, hey, I don't want to see. But you see, it's all good. Clearly, Kotoko, they are not up there in Africa. They like the standard, BNN or Jamanem, And also, I want to thank Accra, the coach, the team, management, everybody. At least we are doing well. And our goalkeeper, Benjamin Sarri, number one. That's our goalkeeper, number one. And Chelsea to winning, and Manchester, I don't feel okay. The glory where they carry Manchester these days. We all need that glory in this world. We all need that glory.
Which glory is this?
Some students, this world, I mean, Liverpool, three balls hit the bar. Hey. Anyway, so Nathan, I'm enjoying your show. I'm enjoying your show this morning.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. 7:56. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. All right, more calls are coming. We'll take calls till maybe a little after 8, and then we get into the discussion. We'll talk about Asante Kotoko, the Ghana Premier League. We'll do some Europe, and then we'll call it a show. Let me take this one. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Nathan.
Yes, good morning.
This is Nana calling from Damsoma.
All right, please go ahead.
Nathan. I want to ask, how happy are you? Manchester United beat Liverpool.
I'm very happy.
Oh, okay.
I'm very happy.
Okay.
If nothing it's nice going to the old enemy and getting 3 points, on their turf. It's good.
Okay. Then I'm fine because lately, because of the
Hello. Oh, hello. Line dropped. Okay, 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. You can equally call the other number 030-279-4805, or you can send me a WhatsApp message 054-257-1061. I'm sure a couple of WhatsApp messages have come through. I'll gladly go through them before we proceed. Okay, I think we have a call on the line. Let me take this caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Nathan.
Yes, good morning.
Hope it's well.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I can see how happy you are because Manchester won.
Yes, of course. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Asante.
Okay, and what's your name?
I'm Jane.
Okay, please go ahead.
The bad luck didn't come on City. They all City take their point before. You are now taking your glory. So I'm happy. It's Kotoko.
Okay.
It's unfortunate. I don't know. Because House went there for 1-2-6-1. No, I don't know if they will take 7-1 or 8-1.
Oh, how?
So
how are they going to concede 7 or 8?
Because with their form, they will not have any proper form. So it's just they will come on Sporty and brag. I don't know what Kojo Adam Mensah will come with Fifi Basi to come this evening or this afternoon and come and say. You will say a lot, but I don't think they have them. And very also.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, this is still the Sporty Breakfast. I think we have a call on the other line. Let me take that. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, I'm Chrissy calling from Kisima.
All right, please go ahead.
Yes. We thank God Manu was able to win the match yesterday.
Mm.
And
the voice of sports.
Yeah, from your side, I've been a fan of you, since City. Yes, you are one of my best, fan. Again, there is a problem I want to complain about. What are the sports ministry doing about is the Amasama Stadium?
Okay.
They've left the land to deteriorate. the place is in shambles. You go there, it's like containers all around the place. You see, we are focusing on Boteman to put up a stadium. And we have a land lying down for years.
Okay. And what I'll say is that I know the place you are talking about. That place belongs to the Ghana Olympic Committee. So that's GOC property. Right. So that's more GOC. But yeah, I think I get the point you're making. So yes. I'm sure somebody might be listening.
Yes, even if it is for the Olympic Committee, and you think it is of no use because you have other stadia to serve as Olympic ground or whatever it is, it could be turned into 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 or 20,000 stadium for the country, which could serve the northern belt of the country or within Greater Accra. Because as of folk is, having properties around, what's the name of the place?
Probiman.
So they can use that sector, at least if we have a stadium. You don't need to come all the way to Accra Sports Stadium, which could serve that sector, so that, Accra will be round up. So this is one of my takes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm sure somebody from the GOC is listening. We'll prompt them so they do something about it.
So I'll be on this line. I think I'll be the 10th.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Let's take a final caller and then we'll proceed with the rest of the show. 054-257-1061 054-257-1061. This is the Sporty Breakfast. Let me take our final caller for the segment and then we'll proceed with the rest of the show. Hello.
Hello, Nathan.
Yes.
This is Nanabak, Malando.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've confirmed you are happy. I asked because of some lately bashes of Manchester United from you.
Yeah.
That is why I was asking. But I can see the heart is still there. So.
Oh yeah, but the fact that when I bash Man United, 2/3 of the time I'm doing my work because that's what I'm supposed to do. It doesn't mean that I dislike this club. Yeah, it doesn't mean I dislike the club.
I understand. I have seen some videos circulating from an Asante Kotoko supporter saying that Accra were showing the Wydad where to go, the sort of fufu, the time they should eat and stuff. So it's mad. And they will work against Accra as well. Has he forgotten that they are the people that still give us that nickname, Konsia? And they think he thinks Hasopok will sit down and allow that. Anyway, we might say that it's Ghana, so we should just back Kotoko. But then he should know that's where the rivalry has taken them to. He should understand. And they should only pray that they will also not be the twin brothers of Konsia when they go to Morocco.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, it's been a good weekend. Hearts won, United won, Hearts kept clean sheet, and it was biggest one of them was that Harry Maguire got Honorable Harry Maguire got the winning goal. Maybe he will get his share.
I see.
Anyway, big up to you and Raymond.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you for the call. All right. It's 4 minutes after 8. Okay, we'll put a we'll put a pause on the calls for now. But you can send us a WhatsApp message 054-257-1061 054-257-1061. All right, let's start off with Asante Kotoko. And yesterday, it wasn't the greatest of results for them. They got beaten by Wydad Athletic Club of Casablanca. Wydad Athletic Club of Casablanca in the CAF Confederation Cup second round qualifiers. Okay, now the Moroccans were in town, and I remember when they arrived, they generated a lot of talk. People were talking about their training videos and the content they were sharing on social, and people were saying all kinds of things. But on the pitch, they walked away with a 1-0 win. Now, how did they do that? They scored in the 47th minute. Okay, they scored in the 47th minute, and Joseph Bakasu, he scored from range, close range, and that was enough to give Wydad the result on the day. Asante Kotoko had their goalkeeper Mohamed Kamara sent off for handling the football outside the area, and when you do that, you are going to get punished, and so he got punished. Ultimately, Kotoko couldn't find a way back into the game, so they lost the first leg by 1-0. That return leg is set for Friday in Casablanca, and Asante Kotoko need to find a win of any kind to get them through to the next stage of the competition. My colleague, journalist Jerome Motri, is joining us, ex-editor of the Asante Kotoko Express. Let me get his thoughts on the game yesterday and you know what can happen or what should happen going forward. Jerome, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Oh, by God's grace, I'm fine. And good morning. I believe you're also well.
Yes. God is keeping us. Your thoughts on proceedings at the Accra Sports Stadium. Asante Kotoko lost by 1-0 to a team they know quite well, Wydad Athletic Club of Casablanca in the CAF Confederation Cup. What did you make of the result, what you witnessed, and the performance of Asante Kotoko on the day?
Nathan, if you had listened to me on Friday on Fifi Banson's show, you would have noticed that I wasn't so hopeful. Not because I wanted Kotoko to lose, but I am one of those who believe that none of our teams, and I mean Ghana club teams, have what it takes to compete in Africa. Once in a blue moon, we might do well, but in terms of proper competition against some of the tested sites we know on the continent, we are always going to falter. And Kotoko's result does not surprise me in any way. I wasn't too happy, especially if you look at the way the goal came. Some sloppy defending left the guy on mark. And he had the freedom to do what he did. More so when your goalkeeper is also not disciplined. And I think the Kotoko team must have some good talking moments with Kamara, because you see, he's supposed to be disciplined. At this level of the game, you don't have to display the sort of attitude you put up. I know goalkeepers go out of their area. I know goalkeepers touch the ball outside the box and all that. But you see, it is part of your training to know the rules of the game, so that you don't cost your team the way he did, because his absence definitely contributed to the psyche of the team. And these are things that I think the team should look at. On the broader scale, it is nothing surprising. Look, our club football strength is still below the standard on the continent. And that is why you will have our teams struggling to meet expectations when they go outside the country.
You know, you speak about Kotoko on the day and the fact that, you know, the second best, Kamara and all of that. With all of these things put together, how should they approach that second leg on Friday? A win of any kind sends them through, or at least if they win by more than a goal, it sends them through to the competition. Can that happen? What must they do to get the desired result when they go to Morocco later this week?
In strict football terms, it can happen, because we say the game is a game of uncertainty. But we're also looking at the attitude of the wider team. We are looking at their psyche. We are looking at what they do that you and I know. And that, if you look at those things, you can tell from every angle that Kotoko have a difficult task. And I think Karim Zito fully understands that, and he's made that point very clear. I was watching videos of his post-match press conference, and he appreciates the difficulty. So you should go out there and throw everything into the game. You have nothing to protect. You have nothing to lose. Yes, maybe your reputation, but that reputation has been wounded at home. So what would you lose if you throw everything into the game away? I think that the best Kotoko will do is to give it their all. We know that they are not at the level WAC is at every level of the game, but here is the case: you are confronted with the reality that you either win or get kicked out, and that's the only option. So I would go for giving the game everything they have, throw everything into the game, and let's see whether you'll be lucky and the illogicalities of football will smile on you so that you can beat WAC away. Otherwise, I mean, it is going to be the same old story of going to Africa and exiting at the preliminary stage of the competition. We have to come to the realization that we are still below the standard on the continent. Look at some of the top teams at this level.
Yeah.
Look at them. I mean, yesterday I saw the results of Sundowns. They went away.
They went to Remo Stars in Nigeria, to win 5-1.
5-1. I mean, that tells you that they are not in the business of coming to entertain any misbehavior, and I would wish that whatever Kotoko's fate is in the second leg, I keep saying this, the rest of the club's life will accept that Africa is a project. Even the Sundowns did not do it in a one-off competition. I mean, in a one-off appearance. It was a consistent build-up from 2015 there about when they started taking this competition seriously. They have won it, and they have done it in a way that tells you that continuous investment, employing the right personnel, having the money, the wherewithal to purchase players in and outside, I mean, your borders, will give you the results you want. But we here think we can just go in with some gusto talk and gusto performance, and we are always going to be disappointed. The Moroccan football we are seeing now, and I put up a tweet, if you allow me to talk about that a little. Look, what we are seeing in Morocco is the fruit of deliberate decisions, deliberate actions, willful investment in the game, not some momentary or one-day show of things and suddenly you get results. No, they are winning everything. And I heard you talk about it. The fact that they are hosting the women's competition, the under-17 and all that. They are going to win it. If they don't win it, they will excel. And it should send a signal to us that we are not there yet. We are not doing the things that we claim or supposedly have. We are not. And that for me is a big worry. Look, if you take it from the point of investment, I ask myself, what have we done? And I heard one of your callers saying that we have the money. I agree with him. We may not have billions of dollars for sports development, but we have hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
we have a few millions of dollars. What do we use it to do? What do we use it to be? These are the things that we should engage those who have been entrusted with the management of the game to think about, so that whether you are in government or you are the FA, you don't sit around the table and share $500,000. You don't do that. But that is what we have been used to. That is what we are doing. And that is why I will agree with your caller who says that we have the money. Because we will not get $1 billion for sports development. I look at the government, the finance minister, and all the things they are doing, and I'm convinced beyond reasonable doubt that Atu Forsen will not put $1 billion into sports development. He will not. But if you have $500,000, you don't sit in an air conditioning room at some hotel and share among yourselves. But that is what our FA and the government have been doing. Total complicity to just use money for nothing. And our sports, our football will suffer. Sometimes when we talk, people think, oh, you are always critical of the system. Yes, we will be critical of the system when the system is not showing The things that we are seeing others do. The Moroccan Federation and the Moroccan government don't sit around the table and share $500,000. They don't. That is why they will achieve the kind of results they are achieving. We here are interested in the opposite. That is why you cannot even lay pipes to your washrooms at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. And Kotoko will have to play outside Kumasi and struggle to win. These are the things we speak of because we know what is happening elsewhere. And later, I mean, maybe it will be a long talk, but the truth of the matter is, until we return to the basics which include having better plans on the table, and even with little money, you begin to use the little money wisely. Until we begin to do that, we should forget about success at the top level, because it will not happen. It is not going to happen not because some prophet is sitting somewhere and prophesying doom. It is not going to happen because the results, what you put in, is what you will get. I was telling a friend this morning that if I promise you love, and my life does not reflect an attitude of love, I am lying to you because I can't love you. I don't have it. If I don't have love within me, how can I show love to you?
And you can't give what you don't have.
Exactly my point. So let's go back to the table. I will encourage the Kotoko leadership not to look at this setback as the end, because we have been saying it. We must approach Africa as a project. It is not going to happen out of nothing, out of some lack. It's not going to happen. Football has never worked that way. Yes, on one or a few occasions you will have that, but that doesn't always happen. Those who are winning, those who have demonstrated consistent good performance, are doing so as a result of some careful plans, some proper deliberate investment into what they are doing. And I would wish that we go back to that level. If we are not, then maybe anytime they go, we should just have it at the back of our minds that next morning we'll be talking the way we are talking, because I mean, I feel bad speaking this way because I'm a very positive-minded person, but I also confront reality. And the reality I'm seeing is that we are way behind, far behind. I mean, waking up this morning and seeing some of you and all of you sharing and posting on Morocco, I just felt sad. We have qualified for the World Cup now. But guess what the conversations have been?
Yeah,
it's been about going to coach some people who are living luxurious lifestyles under some nationality somewhere. That is what the conversations have been. And it's not as if those we are looking to bring home are even better than what we have. I doubt if there is any superstar out there who Ghana so much needs that it should warrant a conversation. But, I mean, that is what we are talking about. And the next moment, you will have the politicians putting people on aeroplanes to go and support the team. Then when we come back, there's a scandal. And you have the FA threatening people who are ready to expose them for unconscionable sharing of money. That has been our story. That has been our story. The last competitions we have played, how many of them have we not gone and come back and set up committees to investigate what happened? We did that at the World Cup. The last two AFCONs or so, one of the AFCONs, we did the same. Why are we always probing? Yet the problem persists. It's because we are not learning from those experiences. And I would wish that under a new government, particularly one that supervised one of the worst World Cup appearances, in terms of denting the country's image, they would have learned lessons, and this time the experience will be different.
Well, let's hope things take a better turn. But Jerome, thank you. Thank you for speaking with us this morning. I'm sure we'll speak again soon. Enjoy the day and have a wonderful one.
Same to you. Thank you.
All right, that was colleague journalist Jerome Motri and former editor of the Asante Kotoko Express, Jerome Motri, sharing his thoughts on Asante Kotoko's loss to Wydad Athletic Club yesterday in the CAF Comfort Cup qualifiers. It was another round of the qualifiers, and Kotoko lost at home. Now they have to go to Morocco and go and win by a minimum of 2 to see if they can qualify. Okay, to see if they can qualify. My colleague Michael Asaibedu is joining us. Michael, good morning. How are you doing?
Good. How about you?
Yes, we are fine. Thank you so much for joining us. You had one eye, I'm sure, on Asante Kotoko whilst keeping tabs on other things happening in the Ghana Premier League. Your thoughts on what you observed? Kotoko losing that game to Wydad Athletic by a 1-0. Mohamed Kamara getting sent off in that encounter. You know, everything that's happened. Kotoko having to go to Morocco now to go and get a huge win to send them through. Just your thoughts on everything that transpired, and maybe we can get into some of the things that people may not have seen, or some of the things that you observed as you watched the team play yesterday.
I think it was kind of expected that when work comes to town, judging by the quality at their disposal, the experience they had garnered, and the exposure as well, they will definitely have a huge role to play in how this game travels. And for Asante Kotoko, if you assess the majority of this squad, this was basically the third game they were playing in Africa. And they had to face a team with that reputation. Like I know Kotoko has history, but if you are to assess Kotoko's performance in the CAF Interclub competitions for the past 20 years or so, the best they have done is to just make the group stage of a CAF Confederation Cup. And maybe you would want to look at how they fared. It wasn't so good. They've not come out of the group stage since. So Kotoko's history, yes, is as rich as telling the story from the 70s, the 80s, a kinds of pale south in the 90s, and then from the 2000s, they've actually sunk, and they are not really one of the big teams you expect to dominate in the CAF Interclub competitions, and that's a sad story. So I always knew it was always going to be difficult. There were some one or two fine matches that would actually separate the two teams. Yes, Kotoko was playing at home. They were fueled by the exuberance and the euphoria that was created by the fans. And let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the attendance that was witnessed yesterday. I think it was very good, judging by the circumstances prevailing. Kotoko had to play away from home. We know the challenges in terms of traveling by road from Kumasi to Accra at present, but as many as 4 buses left Kumasi in the early mornings of yesterday just to make sure they could bus fans to come and watch the game. And I think the efforts of the Asante Kotoko supporters, leadership, and then even the club in entirety, I think it paid off. And we saw good numbers at the stadium. But that wasn't enough to push the team to where they will have to get to. 1, the level of coaching. 2, applying the coaches' instructions and the principles of play. And then 3, the players themselves, and then the stage that they were on. I don't think Kotoko were in a position to affect game more positively, considering these 3 instances. 1, the level of coaching. If you judge how Asante Kotoko defended the goal they conceded, clearly how they set up clearly should come from a coaching structure, a coaching like something they've practiced or done at training. And I want to know what informed that particular structure, because if you check, there were 3 players just by the goal line. They were inside the post. 2 outfield players marking each side of the post, and then the goalkeeper. And if you look at how they also set up in the penalty box to defend the set piece, how they left the Wydad player Joseph Bakasu free to rifle a shot right through the net, I think clearly it has to do with the setup for defending set pieces. I think it is a bit dysfunctional. And I say this because if you have 2 players guarding the post and then a player is free in the penalty box, then someone help me to explain what is the essence of having these 2 players to guard the post. And it evokes memories of the old stuff that we used to say during our Wanchendi days, 2 and 3 pull, 2 and 3 pull, which means that the right back and the left back will have to mark the post. But ask yourself this question. I have not seen this happen in modern football, that 2 players will have to mark a post and then leave opponents free. I have never seen this in recent time. And again, if players will have to be by the goalkeeper, it means that they are forming a shield by the goalkeeper where the opponent has elected a player or two to try and then ruffle the feathers of the keeper, make him unstable, make him uncomfortable, so that they will take advantage of it. But where players have to mark a post where there is no really an action around that area, I think it does not really serve the best interest. But it all goes back to the coaching bit I said earlier. I think if you are to assess the level of coaching between the two teams, then you would know WAC were far advanced, and they had been exposed to various scenarios. They've played against the best of teams. Let's not forget, this is the same WAC team that competed in the FIFA Club World Cup, played against top opposition. So clearly, these are things you expect to come to bear. They will meet teams that are advanced in terms of their coaching, and they will learn a thing or two from them. Before the game, the rumor I had was that WAC had gathered enough videos on Asante Kotoko, and I want to believe that they studied how Kotoko dealt with situations like defending set pieces and all that. They decided to take advantage of such situations. So these are things that you look at, and then you would have to come to the conclusion that the level of coaching between the two teams, there is a gap, and we need to appreciate this. Again, there are other things that has to do with the stage, the players, the exposure. Look at the WAC team made up of players who had experienced some of these stages, played some of these games, and know how to handle it. And then you compare to that of Asante Kotoko. Kotoko had a very good chance just in the first 10 minutes of the game. If you have players who are exposed, they are not really they don't really suffer from stage fright. They don't really have to face the pressure of the occasion. It does not really get to them. The weight, the burden of expectations does not weigh down on them and does not impact them. So what you do here is that they calm down in such situations, they fight the nerves, and then with composure, they bury the chances. Peter Abiduakwa on 2 occasions had 2 big chances that he could have converted, but I want to believe that he was battling nerves. He could not really calm down, he could not take the right decision. He missed it. The same applies to the other chance that Asante Kotoko got. And to me, the biggest chance of the day fell to Kotoko, and they failed to score. Clearly, the stage is too big for these players. Yes, they are good for the standard of the Ghana Premier League. They will be good enough to face Para United, but when it is escalated to the level of WAC, then clearly you know that there is a huge gap between these two sides, the playing body. And quality is displayed in the sense that, one, exposure. I have played severally. I have come to terms with how I need to apply myself in such continental competitions. But the Kotoko players, you don't have it. So in instances where I need to react, I am reacting out of fear, anxiety, and that will not bring the best out of me. The issues that led to Mohamed Kamara getting the red card. Any experienced goalkeeper in Africa will handle this differently. Kamara in the Premier League will likely handle this differently. But it was that fear. Because if you reach the situation, it is Nordin Amrabat racing together with Patrick Essiedu. Now Essiedu has power, and then he has speed. Amrabat has power, but not really the speed. So you expect Essiedu to really give him a chase. And then at the end of it all, if you trust your player, you allow him to cope with the player, and then you allow for the other defenders to recover. But the goalkeeper failed to read the situation properly. Again, the nerves. The moment he saw the sight of a WAC player racing at him, he was clear on goal. His mind there was a total blackout. He would not even be able to read the situation properly and understand what was at stake. And that would lead to what exactly happened. In a typical Ghana Premier League situation, Kamara will handle this better. And I dare say so, because I have seen him in such instances where he's done excellent sweeping jobs, or there are times where he allows for his players to deal with the situation. Again, check that scenario very well. You could clearly see that even before Kamara came out, Essiedu was thinking about sliding. It was a slide tackle he put up. Instead of racing with the player, again, fear, nerves. So, yeah, the Asante Kotoko players are good. Nobody overhyped them. Nobody said they were better than WAC. But the stage they were clearly meant that they were in unfamiliar territory. And the things they do in the Ghana Premier League, they will fail to do because we forget that football also has to do with the psychological aspect. You need players to understand where they are at a point in time, read the situation, and do as they are supposed to do. And these are some of the fine margins that separated the two sides. WAC will have Nottingham Rabat calm down and handle these instances. He's played in the best of leagues. In Spain, he's played in Greece, he's back to his local side, and look at what he's doing. He has that experience and that exposure. Tembin Konsi has been doing this previously at his former side, and he's here. He feels right at home. He has that experience. He's played for the South African national side. The other players, Steve Bakasu and the others, they have all tested what it takes to perform here. Stefan Azizki, he was doing this for young Africans. He's visited Ghana before with young Africans. And so they know what it takes to perform on stages like this, something our players do not have. And we need to understand these things and how they operate. So it is not really surprising to me that Asante Kotoko lost to WAC of Morocco. Could they have done better? Yes, with experience and consistency. Maybe they would have put up a different performance. But the reality is that there is a certain gap between where we are and where these Moroccans are, or where these North African clubs are. And it will take us some time to be able to get to this stage. We need consistency, we need investment, and we need some things to be done right in our game. Until that is sorted out, let's stop berating our teams when they show up, when they fail to show up against opponents like what we are seeing.
Michael, thank you for those initial comments. For our listeners, if you go to our streams on Facebook, you find highlights of the game involving Asante Kotoko and Wydad Club of Casablanca from yesterday at the Accra Sports Stadium. So you can find those videos there for you to enjoy, even as we have the discussion. I'm told Nuhu Adams is on the line. I need my producers to confirm if Nuhu is still on the line. Okay, Nuhu is joining us. Nuhu, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very fine, Nathan.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Nuhu Adams is a colleague journalist and, a very strong analyst of African football. Nuhu, yesterday, Wydad Casablanca came to town, got themselves a 1-0 win against Asante Kotoko. A lot has been said. Kotoko fans are not too happy with the result. They will have to go to Morocco and see what they can do. But what did you make of Wydad Casablanca? I mean, coming into this game, did you think they had it in them to get this result? And now that they have this result, would they be able to close the deal come Friday when they meet in the return leg?
I think it was expected. A result like 1-0 against Kotoko was something many pundits wouldn't rule out when you compare the pedigree, the quality of the teams. With that this game, they wanted a result that will give them an advantage going to the second leg. So you see, they didn't put in much effort. Like you should see them when they are playing at home against big teams like Ali, when they are playing against FAR Rabat and RS Berkane. The effort is different from what they did at Accra Sports Stadium. I think it is a strategy most of the North Africans use when they are playing against relatively weaker opponent. If you take the weekend results, you could see that Esperance went away 1-0. They just decided to close the game early. El Ali also got a goal in Burundi. They didn't put much effort in it. The teams that conceded early, they came into the game very, very late with equalizers. And it tells us the sort of quality these teams have. When the game started, yes, it was always clear Kotoko would try as much as possible to want to get an early goal. But once they were able to prevent Kotoko from getting the early goal, they settled down and 1, 2, 3 passes they are in Kotoko's half. And that's the mark of a quality team. When you compare the two teams, when you compare the player quality, when you compare the technical personnel and everything, they were miles ahead of Kotoko. So it's not a surprising result. Basically, with 10 against 11, You should have even expect work to score more than 2. But I think 1 was okay with them. They wanted a result that will just give them an advantage in the second leg, and I think we've seen the difference already. So taking the game to Casablanca with their supporters and how this ultras create that atmosphere, it is always going to be a tour for Kotoko to do something in Casablanca. Maybe they can try as much as possible to hold on with that from not scoring, maybe a scholarly draw or something. But we know how difficult this is going to be. Like Michael was saying, you look at even the experience of the team, you compare them to most of the top sides in Africa, you see that without even playing in Confederation Cup, it's more of a cheat code or something like that. Wydad should be competing with the likes of Ali and Mamelodi Sundowns in the CAF Champions League. But because of how Farah Rabat and RS Bakiani have become very strong in the Moroccan League, that's why we see Wydad in the Confederation Cup. Once they've dropped to Confederation Cup, they will want to at least try as much as possible to win the competition, just to appease their fans after not qualifying to the CAF Champions League, because they believe that's where they belong. So I think there's nothing surprising about this, the results. Kotoko did well. That was the best they could have given us, and I think it's a learning curve for them. The very difficult thing we fail to do in Ghana is when you take out or when you send teams like these to continental stage after the season, almost all of these players are going to move out of the club. They will come with new players. They will get to the same stage, get the experience, and the following season, all of them are gone. You can check the Dreams FC team that went to the semi-finals of the Cup Competition Cup, and none of those players is still playing in Ghana. You can check other teams like Mediama and then Adriana Start when they played in the group stage of the Cup Competition Cup and Champions League. Almost all the players that gained the experience moved out after a season. So it's a very good experience for the players. But is Kotoko going to maintain these players come next season? Even if they are qualifying for Africa again, that's a big question. But I think we should just continue to be hopeful. We can only be hopeful, but the gap between these North African sides is way above us. We can't even close in. Like we know Wydad played in the FIFA Club World Cup and they earned close to $11.5 million. That alone is a huge investment if they want to compete so well in Cup Champions League and Confederation Cup. $11.5 million can do a lot for them. We've seen how Mamelodi Sundowns, Ali, Pyramids FC are investing hugely in their teams just because they want that continental grace, just to make sure they have their name in the books of world football. So I think we can just take the results like that and hope that we see a much more improved side of Kotoko when they play in Casablanca on Friday.
Well, we can only wait. But no, just before I let you go, just a quick run through some of the other results. I noticed that Orlando Pirates, they lost on the road. I think they were in Congo, and they lost that game. Just quick thoughts on that. That was a very huge result. Orlando Pirates got to turn around a 3-0 deficit from the first leg.
And it is going to be very, very difficult. That's the most shocking results of the weekend. I think all the other results were expected. Saint Eloi Lupopo is one team that has history and pedigree, but you wouldn't expect them to beat Orlando Pirates 3-0. They eliminated El Marek of Sudan in the prelims. That's where we started to take them serious, because it's not easy to eliminate a team like El Marek. After even drawing at home, they still went away to make sure they qualified ahead of El Marek. But I checked through their squad, and I wasn't surprised about the scoreline again, because you see the players they paraded almost. They are a very experienced side, and most of the players they assembled to play against Orlando Pirates are coming from TP Mazembe and AS Vita Club, and these are the clubs that have been very consistent in Africa.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper Simon Omosola even played CAF Champions League semi-final with AS Vita Club. Isama Mpeko played so many years with TP Mazembe. He played for the DR Congo national team too.
Yeah.
And they have other players, Basiala. All these players have played one or the other for teams in Congo in the CAF Champions League and CAF Congo Cup. So I wasn't much surprised about how they were able to beat Orlando Pirates 3-0, because you look at Orlando Pirates after last season's exploits, I think they've lost 1-2 3 key players, and it is affecting them. They are yet to get to their best. So St. Lualu Popo took advantage of that and got that win. I think it is going to be very, very difficult for Orlando Pirates to overturn the result, knowing that St. Lualu Popo were able to go to El Maresque to even qualify there. Then I think it is going to be very, very difficult for Orlando Pirates. But we can't rule Orlando Pirates out yet. This is the African game. They have the experience. And a team that is able to beat Ali and the likes, they can at least also get 3-0 or 3 goals, force the tie to penalties, and then it will be decided. But I think it's going to be very, very difficult on that.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. No, thank you. Thank you so much for speaking with us, and we'll speak again soon.
Thank you.
All right, wonderful. That was Nuhu Adams, colleague journalist, and somebody who keeps his eye very keenly on African football. Michael Asaibedu is still joining us. Michael, concluding words on Asante Kotoko. Then we talk about the Ghana Premier League, because you're also keeping your eye out on that one. Concluding thoughts on the Kotoko bit, and then we proceed.
Well, I think instead of scapegoating players and then blaming players for their indiscretions, I think we need to really focus on what actually we can derive from experiences like this. I think, one, it should awaken us. It is the best awakening call for us that we are still being left behind, because it's not like we are even closing the gap between ourselves and then the best teams on the continent. So there is a lot that we can do to try and then get close to where they are. And experiences like this should be the reality check that we get from it. One, let's improve coaching. I believe in, yes, we have coaches, but are coaches really practicing the best methods to ensure that if we are making sure that there's a well-coached Ghanaian side, we can pinpoint and then prove that, okay, so Zito's body of work is this. This is his most preferred formation. This is what he does. I don't normally see this in the Ghana Premier League. Like a coaches conference, this is done across board in Europe. In the aftermath of the Champions League, the European Coaches Association gather, they share ideas, they deliberate on maybe the latest innovations. There is a new trend that has come up in the European game. Coaches are practicing it. You see coaches come together like a conference, sort of share ideas and then learn from each other. You don't see this here in Ghana. I have barely seen a coaching conference in Ghana in the last decade where coaches come up, share ideas. The only thing you see is that the GFA is running CAF licensing exams for A, B, C, and then coaches will have to come and then they are tutored. But a conference where idea sharing is allowed, let's say the most used formation in the Ghana Premier League, the best phases of build-up as regards the Ghana Premier League matches that were played in last season. We don't see that. So it looks like our coaches that the only review for our coaches is performance related. So the clubs that they serve, if they don't win matches for a consistent period, they are fired. Then they go off. Then the next you hear they've been appointed here. But you can't actually tell. What is Ibrahim Tanko's philosophy at Mediama? What is Zito's way of doing stuff at his clubs? Zito had a successful campaign with Dreams FC in the CAF Confederation Cup. What formations did he use? How did he play? Have we ever had a forum where he's come up to explain some of these tactical ideas? None. So I think we are not so scientific in our approaches to how we go about our football. And coaching is one. Our coaches are not elaborate enough. They don't explain what they need to do. We need to correct some of these things. Two, our players. I know who said this rightly. If you go to Medium and you check the last squad they used to play in the CAF Champions League group stage, it's much changed. And so Ateman FC played in the CAF Confederation Cup. That was just last season. The club is no more in existence, and the players have dispersed. If you go to Samates, it is a much changed side. Even the team that won the league with Samates, there's been not less than 7 changes. The team they played in the CAF Champions League with, there's been changes. Hilary Adabo is now with Asante Kotoko. And so you look at, we are not consistent enough in terms of squad building. For 3 years, Asante Kotoko have done massive changes to their squad. This season, they brought in more than 10 players. Last season, it was more than that. So they've always been adding players in double figures, and the core of the team changes. Now check, who's the captain of Asante Kotoko? It is Sambo O'Neill. Henry Ansu. Ansu has played for Kotoko for like 3 seasons or so. So you look through the Asante Kotoko squad, and there is not a single player who has even played for them for 5 seasons and beyond. And you don't build a squad in this manner. There is not enough consistency, and then there is not enough clarity as to a certain sporting direction. The next you hear, this coach comes, he wants to do things this way, then he's sacked. Another coach comes, and he also wants to do things his own way. And this kind of befuddlement actually leads to our clubs and our players not knowing where to go to. So at times it is not like our players are no good, but they are so confused. Coach A comes, he does things differently. Coach B comes, he does his own things. And then today, there is a selected group of players this coach prepares. The next moment, there's another group. We need that level of consistency. And I think experiences like what WAC gave to Asante Kotoko, what JSK gave to Gold Stars, are what we need to learn. And then when we learn these lessons, we use it to improve our game. Apart from that, I don't think it will help anybody that we start scapegoating. No, don't put Kamara in the goalpost anymore. He's not good. Come on. He put up some excellent saves in the game. I happened to watch the game in its aftermath because I was then at Brekum. When I came back, I studied. And Kamara pulled like 5 or 6 good saves in the game. So it wasn't like he had an entirely bad day. The only blemish was that mistake he made, which I think he failed to read the situation very well. So instead of scapegoating players, let's learn to learn lessons collectively. Administrators will learn their own lessons. How do we run football in the most efficient manner? Coaches will learn their own. How do we improve the level of coaching? Players will also draw their own lessons. Charlie, it's not easy. Oh, work for no cry any or more bonnet to say, learn instead of coming to castigate players. And I know this will be the trend today. A lot of people will lambast Kamara. They will put him to the cross and then nail him clearly. But it will not help anybody because we need to appreciate the reality. And the reality is that we are far off and we need to take time to get there. And also investment as well.
Strong words, very, very strong words, but very, very true words from Michael Asaibedu and Nuhu Adams. Michael, just stay on. We'll switch tracks quickly and talk about the Ghana Premier League. Very interesting results from over the weekend. Hearts of Oak traveling to Brekum to go and get themselves a win. Hearts of Oak had not been scoring goals in the league, but this time they found their scoring boots. Very late in the game, 2 very similar goals. And Michael, we'll get into how Hearts of Oak were able to construct or how circumstances came together to give Hearts of Oak 2 very similar goals against Brekum Chelsea yesterday in the Ghana Premier League. But before we do that, let's hear from Hearts of Oak's head coach, Masoud Didi Dramani, sharing his thoughts on Hearts of Oak's 2-0 away win at Brekum Chelsea.
Every game is very tough because all the teams are in the Premiership, and so you can expect that it's an early season fixtures, and then every team is still very, very strong, and then every team tries to consolidate what they have.
But coach, looking at that tactical tweak, after taking off Adamu, bringing on a natural right back, changing to the 4-back system, how good was that tweak from you?
Unfortunately, he's not a natural right back. It's an alterated one, and then it was just to solidify our back line and also to give us that stability in order to still build up from the back and find the necessary pocket spaces where we can be very, very decisive and then positive.
For the first time this season, you've scored 2 goals. How pleased are you with the attack? Because 2 of the players that scored for you are attackers.
I think that there's still more to improve. I have always said it. We have to remain consistent and we have to remain very, very sustainable. We're still early days yet. We still have a lot to improve as individual players and also as a team. Every game is very tough because all the teams are in the Premiership, and so you can expect that it's an early season fixtures, and then every team is still very, very.
All right, so that's Hearts of Oak's head coach Masoud Didi Dramani speaking there. Hearts of Oak winning by 2-0 on the road. Hearts getting a win on the road. It was a very, very, very good win for Accra Hearts of Oak. Michael Asabredu is still on. Michael, you had your eye on that particular encounter. Hearts were traveling to Brekum, Chelsea. They managed to get themselves a win there. Very, very good result for Accra Hearts of Oak. Michael, can you just run us through how all of it came together? For large parts of the game, it was goalless. I thought Hearts were going to play yet another game, probably go unbeaten, maybe not score, get 1 point. But somehow, towards the end of the game, they scored 2 very similar goals. Commotion from a set piece, ball drops, bang, it's in the back of the net. They did that twice to give them 3 points on the road. How was the game overall? And just give us your observations and some of the interesting things you saw as that game was being played.
Yeah, Didi Dramani has built solid project for Accra. And from how he started, the most important point is that he's built it on defensive solidity. That is a firm foundation to establish any kind of footballing project. It is difficult to score against Accra, and it is for maybe some various reasons. But let me just state a couple. One has to do with the personnel, and 2 has to do with the structure that the coaches select and how he wants them to play. In Benjamin Asare, Asafok have a goalkeeper whose major strength is in not just the saves, but making sure that he organizes his defense well enough that he barely faces shots. And people are starting to have issues with why Asare does not face too many shots. But I think it is his forte. It is something that he does well. Constantly, you could see Asare, and they are for 2 games. Bechem has away at Bechem and has away at Brekum. That was just yesterday. What they do is that Asare is constantly organizing his defenders. He's dishing out instructions to them. He backs, like he's constantly shaping them, making them aware of where they are, especially as regards the defensive line. And again, when they move beyond a certain limit, he always draws their attention. And you can always see that at one point in time, there is a mini conference between him and Osei Sibe. If not Osei Sibe, there is another player that he's having a conversation with. And I think it is a reason he does not face too many shots. So for people who want to twist the narrative to say that he does not face so many shots, that's why he's having a lot of clean sheets. Then what has not been spoken as the truth yet is that he is able to deal with the situation even before it becomes an issue for his side. And thumbs up to him. The structure of the team, what Didi has done is that he has a solid defensive line. Asare as the last man of defense, and then Kevin Osei Sibe as the main leader among the central defenders. He was playing with Ali Mohammed. Since Ali Mohammed got injured, he's coped, and whoever has been paired with him has been able to give you quality because Osei Sibe is always on hand. He's the last player that any attack from an opponent will have to pass through before he gets to Asare. And he's there to mop the danger at any given point in time. He's mostly gone for the basic. He's one player a lot of people have berated that at times he overdoes things. He doesn't really do the basic or the simple stuff. He tries to play to the gallery and then he makes mistakes. I think he's learned from that. And from the game I saw him at Bechim, so simple, so basic. Yesterday at Brekum, so simple, so basic. If he has to just make one clearance, he does it. If he has to pick a pass, he goes for the simple pass. Then he's true. So I think these are players who are learning, but then again, the fundamental stuff is that they are being coached right. And thumbs up to Didi Dramani and then his technical bench. They have really got into the players to make the players buy into whatever thing they want to do. And it is really carrying this House of Folk team. So the players feel that anything A to Z that these coaches tell them, they need to apply it. Then in the middle, Opon Fani initially was not really having a good time at Accra as a folk because I think he was being misprofiled. Originally, he is a defensive midfielder. At Kim Faisal, they decided to try him out in central defense and it worked. As a folk in his early days wanted to also use him as a center back, but he was not really finding his feet. But I think in defensive midfield, he does a solid job. Now, even in the game yesterday, you could see him as a starting center back, but mostly he was in the middle together with Raphael Amponsa, and they form a certain shield that makes it for opponents to break them. So look at the layers of the House of Folk defense I've mentioned. Asare is the last man. Then the final person you get to before Asare is Osei. Then before Osei, there is Raphael Amponsa and then Opon Afrane. So these three layers look like impenetrable for any opponent that House of Folk plays. So if you are looking for the vivid explanation as to why House of Folk have not conceded and how they have done this, this is it. They have three separate layers of their defense. And it is going to be difficult for any opponent to really have a good day in terms of offensive actions against this House of Folk team. But they've also demonstrated that there's a team in transition, there's a team in process, and they are not done yet. And that is how come, in as much as they are defensively perfect, in terms of going forward, they still have some one or two shortfalls that they need to correct. And I want to dwell on what Didi has done with the defense to be very optimistic that with time, he will be able to do a solid job in terms of the attack. But in as much as they did not create loads of chances from open play, I still think they did well on the day. They did create some decent chances as well. And they were thwarted by Eric Ofori-Entry before his red card. And this is something that really did not really go their way. Maybe they can be a bit more prolific in terms of the open play chances they get. But the trademark of any good team is also how they utilize set pieces. And as you rightly mentioned, from set piece situations, Hearts were very dangerous. They have players with that tall presence who can wreak havoc in the opponent's penalty box, and they use that to their advantage. Again, another way to utilize set pieces is the second balls. When they do drop, always make sure you have someone at hand to apply the finishing touches, and they did that excellently. First from Hamza Issa, beautiful goal scored. He took his chances very well. Again, the initial attempt was thwarted by Eric Ofori-Entry, but House of Folk decided that from the second ball, they would not give him a chance. And they took it excellently. And it was a well-deserved lead. And the pressure that has applied on Brekum Chelsea also paid off in that it led to Eric Ofori-Entry getting a red card. We had to delay for some time. And then Michael Ewamensah had to step in as the goalkeeper because by then Samuel Bodo had made all his changes. He did well, but he could do nothing to prevent the second goal, and it had to happen. So it's a well-deserved win for Accra as a folk, and a pass that they are the best defensive side so far, and they are still getting the result. This was a much-needed win, judging by the pressure that was being mounted on them. But if you are to dig or scratch beneath the surface, maybe if you subject the games that House of Folk have played to much more scrutiny, I think their wins have come against teams who are not really performing well. And they beat 11 Wonders. They beat Dreams FC. They've beaten Brecum Chelsea. These are sides who occupied the bottom places or the second half of the table. Chelsea were 14th before yesterday's game, clearly showing that they're a side that hadn't really started the season well. They had won one, drawn one, and lost twice. And then again, Dreams FC, before they met us, hadn't won or even earned a point. 11 Wonders, the same story. So I think, yes, House of Folk have won, but if you scratch beneath the surface, it has come against teams who relatively, as per the standings, look a bit weaker. But I will not want to take the credit from them. They did deserve their win. They worked very hard for it. And kudos to Didi Dramani. I think he's really building a very solid side. And if it does work, defensively and offensively, House of Folk will be the team to beat in the Ghana Premier League.
Well, we'll see how the Phobians fare, but that's a very, very good win on the road. Michael, just on a few words on Brecum Chelsea on the day. I'm sure somebody would have wanted to get one over his former club, but it didn't happen. They couldn't get anything from that game, and they ultimately conceded 2 goals very late on.
Yes, and the Brecum folks before the game knew that they were not going to win, and their case in reference was there were 2 actually. One, Samuel Boadu has struggled in games he's played against his former side, Accra. And then 2, they think the Chelsea team has not really started the season well, and they attributed that slump or that slow start partly to Samuel Boadu's coaching and then also some to the players. In yesterday's game, for instance, Chelsea did not have the luxury of playing their established midfield trio. Vincent Klueje traveled to Switzerland to have I think they are working on a deal for him to join FC Basel. He had to go there, work on things, and then by the time he returned, the game was too close for him to feature in there. So he was not even considered. He was not part of the matchday squad. So in his absence, they had to play former Ejiana, former Unity FC player, Fatah Onyeri. And his story is beautiful. He's actually someone with Ghanaian roots. He came from Gonokrum to Doma to engage in poultry farming. So as part of his poultry farming adventure, he decided to just have a trial at Ejiana, and it worked. So they picked him up, but he was barely used. He was sparingly used. So he went on loan to Unity FC, and then he returned to Ejiana. Then Chelsea decided to sue for him when they were losing Hubert Jehu. So they decided to bring him on board. And yesterday, he did feature in the game. He had his first Premier League start for Brecum Chelsea, and it was beautiful, the storyline around it and everything. But then again, I think somebody does not know his best starting lineup in the Chelsea setup, because it was evident that with the changes he made, for instance, when he decided to bring on Edwin Kofuor-Samoa, just former Asante Kotoko right back, Augustine Japon, and also Seydou Abubakar, and then Emmanuel Sapon, it changed Chelsea's play. At right back, Kennedy Kofi Mensah is good. But clearly, he was not one for yesterday's game. Yesterday's game called for experience and then also physicality. AK cannot give you physicality. He's solid when you are facing teams like the Holy Stars, who will not really apply much pressure. For Hasbrook, they are a very physical side, and they make you do the extra. And I think Kennedy Kofi Mensah was struggling to go. But the moment Augustine Japon came on, it was evident. You could see his experience shining. And he really contributed a lot to some of the attacking incursions Chelsea created. And everybody in the stadium was asking, so why was he on the bench? Again, Edwin Kofuor-Samoa. Now, Samuel Boadu played the duo of Michael Ewa Mensah and then Mohamed Seydou in central defense. And a lot of people were saying that if you have these two, you are okay. But in defensive midfield, you compare Kwesi Sorutu-Badori with Edwin Kofuor-Samoa, and when he came on as a DM, he was solid, especially when Klueje wasn't available. So he can make Kwesi Sorutu-Badori much more of a box-to-box midfielder. He can progress the ball, he can pass the ball, and he can also do the tackles and win. So if you have Edwin Kofuor-Samoa, who can play as a DM as well, it means he sits as a natural DM, and then he will be supported by Kwesi Sorutu-Badori. But unfortunately, he did not do that. So Boadu got a starting lineup wrong, in my opinion, and did not really contribute to Chelsea's chances in the game. They did not really dominate. It was a dominant House of Folk performance, and kudos to House of Folk for winning. But for Boadu, I think he will need to really steady his match day note his preparation towards this game, his selection, learn lessons from them, and improve in subsequent games. Yesterday wasn't a vintage coaching performance from him. And there was a time even when he had to engage some of the fans in a quarrel. They were not so happy. They were not so pleased. And I think to some extent, I think the fans at least deserve to also have their own fair share in terms of complaining to the coach. They did not really do a good job. And I think he needs to improve.
Samuel Boadu beginning to feel the heat a bit there in terms of the Ghana Premier League. In other results, Bechem 2, Vision 0. Hohoe United, they lost at home to Aduana Stars by 2-0. Aduana got a red card there. Swedru All Blacks beat Basake Holy Stars, a welcome win for Swedru All Blacks. Dreams FC finally got points on the board. They beat Nations by 2-0. And it was 1-1 between Mediama and Samatex. Samatex scoring the goal of the round, already a goal of the season contender. Dramani Ewa scoring a long ranger, and then it was late. Kingsley Breye getting that equalizer to give Mediama a share of the points there. Michael, which other game would you want to speak about? I've gone through the full results for this weekend. I don't know which other game caught your attention from the Ghana Premier League. Okay. Michael, I don't know if you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please go on.
As I was saying, the Mediama Samatex game, I think Christopher Enin is building a solid side with FC Samatex, in that they are a difficult team to beat, and it is early days yet. But I think that what he's done with this side means that they have a fair chance against any opponent. They came to Abankasi to draw goalless with Nations FC. They've gone to Takwa to draw with Mediama. Mediama had defeated any opponent that had visited them this season. But for Samatex to go there, score first, and as you mentioned, the Dramani scored a beautiful goal. And I always say this, we see some of the delightful goals in Europe. But for one, our camera angles and also the picture quality, we score similar goals over here. Our players are scoring very great goals, but we are unable to capture them in clear, crystal quality because of maybe camera angles, maybe because of the cameras that we use. We are not that advanced yet, and maybe we'll get there. But it was a beautiful goal scored by Ewa Dramani, a quality player, and he's a player that Christopher Enin trusts. He worked with him previously when the two of them then served Brecum Chelsea. He knows him very well, and Ewa Dramani, on his good day, is as competent as any top GP or attacker. It does so well. Can shoot, can dribble, and he can pass. But the only thing that he's lacking is his consistency. And if it's something that he's able to improve upon, then I think he'll be one of the most mentioned names every weekend in the Ghana Premier League. But Mediama had to come back. Kingsley Breye, who is their lead marksman, he's been getting the goals for them, and that makes it all important. But I am very happy with Samatex and how they bounced back after last season. They failed abysmally in defending their title. They were so poor. And this season, they want to right the wrongs. Their last season form meant that the coach who won the league with them, Nuruddin Amadou, was sacked. Christopher Enin came into the scene after like halfway through the season. And then he steered things so well and is continuing. He's actually a very good coach. At Chelsea, he did similar. He always made sure Chelsea were here and there in terms of challenging for the title. And then at Samatex, he's trying to build a winsome side. So kudos to them. Then I'm worried for Kassim Okansemengo. Nations FC have not really recorded joy in their past games that they've played in. After beating Swedru All Blacks, they have not won a game. Their best has been goalless draws against Samatex at home and against Asante Kotoko at home as well. Their away travels have meant that they have been beaten by Dreams, a struggling team. And almost everybody was picking points from Dreams FC. Again, they were beaten away from home against Mediama, and then they were beaten again by Aduana. So their away performances in 3 away games they've lost. Their home performances, their performance have dipped. And I think it is something that Kassim Okansemengo will be very worried about. And I fear for his future. Initially, there have been talks as to whether he might be asked, he might be sacked even before the season commences. So to start the season in this manner, I think he himself will be a disturbed man, and he needs to improve. But the explanations are there. They've lost the mojo in their team. Their midfield, for instance.
But Michael, what could be the reason? I mean, not a lot changed. At least I could be wrong. When I observed the squad casually, I see that not a lot changed in terms of the playing body. Kasim Okansemengo was still around. I had Nations as a team that would kick on from last season and cause problems and be there or thereabouts. But they seem to have lost their way. And as you said, it's just not coming together for them. What's wrong with Nations?
A key strength area last season was their midfield. The midfield of Sadiq Al-Hassan, Abdul Karim, they were the key midfielders in there. Then at a point in time, other players will have to complement. Now, they lost Sadiq Al-Hassan for free. Then Abdul Karim had to join Accra as a folk. So their two key midfielders have left them. And the weakness of Nations FC this season has also been their midfield. In games I've watched them play, especially at home, against All Blacks, against Samates, and against Asante Kotoko, they've been dominated in the middle. Maybe in the Kotoko game, you can make up with the weather excuse that the rains affected the pitch, and as such, neither side could really play a dominant game when they had to place the ball on the ground or on the pitch and do it. So they had to balloon the balls. But in the games against Samates, they did not dominate the midfield. In the game against Wydad All Blacks, it was Samuel Boateng who was bossing the midfield, and he delivered excellently. So Nations actually have a midfield problem. I think the loss of Sadiq Al-Hassan, the loss of Abdul Karim has actually impacted them negatively. And Kasim Okansemengo is struggling to find another midfield set that could bring the quality that they oozed last season from that department. And it's broken down their play. In defense, they are good. Razak Simpson and then Roland Oko Gripman, solid defensive midfield. Kufuor is also, Samuel Kufuor is solid. He does a solid job. Then they have the players to do the job in the defense. But when they have to build up from the back, it will definitely pass through the middle. And they can't really lead through. So the midfield cannot protect the defense and can also link up correctly with the attack. And that is something that is really affecting them. Also, another explanation is that the attack have been drawing blanks in more recent times. We are no longer seeing Faisal Shawate at his prolific best. Last season, he had an electrifying start to the campaign. He was scoring goals for fun. At a point in time, he was topping the scorers chart. This season, we've not seen him. He's a pale shadow of his former self. They also brought on board Bassett. He's not really settled in. And the only attacker who's really hit the ground running for them is Emmanuel Arnaud. So Nations FC, yes, they might have a squad, but they don't have a team yet as compared to last season. And there's a reason for their slow start to the Ghana Premier League this season. And I doubt if, Kasim Mingle has done a solid job since he came on board. But I doubt if the recent form continues, they will have enough credit in the bank to still keep him at post. I fear for his future, I must admit. And if results do not improve overnight, then it won't be long before we hear the news that Nations FC have parted company with Kasim Okansemengo.
Tough times for Nations. In terms of the Ghana Premier League listeners, there are two games today. Gold Stars face Heart of Lions, who one of the most informed teams in the league, Heart of Lions, and 11 Wonders take on Karela. In terms of the standings or the league table, let me just run that by you as we have them. Mediama top 13 points, Ediana 12, Hearts of Oak 12, Heart of Lions 11, Young Apostles and Samatex are tied on 10. And then there's a pile-up of teams on 8 points, Kotoko, Hohoe United, Vision and Karela all on 8. Sorry, Swedru All Blacks and BBNE Gold Stars on 6 each. Bechem United and Nations FC on 5 each. Dreams on 4, Brekum Chelsea on 4, Holy Stars on 2, and 11 Wonders have 1 point to their name. So Heart of Lions, Young Apostles, Karela are all on 5 games played. They do have games to play. And Asante Kotoko have played 4 games, so they have a few games outstanding. Hopefully, they should get points on the board. Your comments are welcome. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. We'll be hopping on the jet to go to Europe in a bit. By your comments are welcome. 054-257-1061. My producers, let's see if we have some WhatsApp messages. As we wait for the WhatsApp messages to come through, let me give you a few announcements. MTN is giving you free after one extra. Now, with the free after one extra, you talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes you talk. Which means for every 10 minutes you talk within the hour, you only pay for the first minute and you get to talk for 60. 60 minutes straight with no interruptions. You also get 100 MB of data for free after your first call on Saturday. So now is the time to talk and talk and talk with MTN free after one extra. Just dial star 550 hash. And enjoy. This December, you need to hop on a plane and go to Morocco to go and enjoy the AFCON. I know Ghana may not be there, or Ghana is not there, but it doesn't mean you can't go to the AFCON to go and enjoy. Less pressure. You just go and sit down and watch and enjoy yourself. So Dunia Safari and Sporty FM are bringing you closer to the games. Try something different. You know, every December you are doing rave, and this time go to Morocco. Go and watch the AFCON. Now, Dunia Safari has exclusive group travel packages to see the Super Eagles and the Elephants of La Côte d'Ivoire. Use the Sporty FM promo code SPORTYFAN25 when booking to unlock a special 20% discount for a minimum of 3 people booking. Don't just hear it on Sporty FM. See the games live, in person, and in Morocco. And limited spots are available. Visit duniasafari.com, or call 053-808-7709, or send an email travelduniasafari@gmail.com. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Travel Dunia Safari. Don't forget to book using the Sporty FM promo code SPORTYFAN25. SPORTYFAN25. Let me go to some of the messages before we switch our attention to Europe. All right, this one says, what a weekend of sports. Mine didn't go so well. Bournemouth didn't get things off to a good start, although we managed the draw with Palace, which isn't too bad. Then my favorite tennis player, Alcaraz, lost to Yannick Sinner. At least United won, and since I have close family who support them, that was a decent consolation. Kweku from Bournemouth saying that. Ni Lomo from Apam, saying something really interesting. Liverpool, all cover in front, no support behind. Wow. A man like Winter from Takwa says the weekend has been super cool. Double win for my teams, Hearts of Oak and Manchester United. My Liverpool colleagues in the office have still not taken their breakfast. I hope it continues like this every match day. No, you won't get it like this every match day. One day the number will be on United, so you have to enjoy this one. 9:18. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. We are on till 9:45. At 10, there's a Total English Football with Yvonne Woyomi and her gang. They'll come and pick apart the biggest stories from over the weekend. Yeah, on Sporty FM, we are the voice of sport. It should be good. Total English Football with Yvonne Woyomi and her gang. They will go through the high points and the low points of the Premier League weekend. They'll talk about Man United winning at Anfield. A rare win. United haven't won there in 9 years. But they did. Arsenal winning away from home. Manchester City winning at home. Chelsea winning on the road. Aston Villa winning on the road as well. So yesterday, before the Man United game, I saw the Villa results. I mean, my attentions were elsewhere. I saw the Villa results, and I said, could Man United also get an away win? Little did I know that the gods were about to give me a win. Ha ha ha! Wonderful stuff. More comments are welcome. 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. In Spain, the top two also won. Barcelona and Real Madrid picked up wins. Real Madrid won away from home. Barcelona won at home. And it put Real Madrid back on top of the La Liga table. In Germany, the Klassiker went the way of Bayern Munich. They won by 2-1. They beat Borussia Dortmund with Harry Kane scoring his 400th club goal. 400th club goal. Harry Kane is doing amazing stuff with Bayern Munich, right? Just imagine all these years playing in England, not winning anything. He goes to Germany. He's won the Bundesliga. I think they won the Super Cup too. And he's hoping that he can win more things with Bayern Munich. With the way Bayern Munich are playing this season, they look really good in terms of the Bundesliga. And in France, Friday night was an interesting night. PSG drew 3-3 with Strasbourg. I was watching that game. PSG had to call on the cavalry off the bench to come and save them. And then you had Lille winning on the road. And then you had Marseille smashing Le Havre 6-2. Wow, big result for Marseille, who are now top of the Liga table. On Thursday morning, Inside French Football will go into all of that. Yeah, so you can send me your comments, 054-257-1061. It's 9:21. We are wrapping up at 9:45. So we'll touch on a few things. Let me go back to the line. I don't know if Michael is still on the line. Michael, are you still there? Wonderful. Let's hop on the jet and let's quickly touch on a couple of things in Europe. Let's start off in England, where I guess you can say that the big boys all won. You had an all big boy clash at Anfield. Man United winning it by 2-1. Chelsea winning on the road, and it eventually led to the sacking of Ange Postecoglou. I guess we're all not surprised by that. Arsenal winning on the road, Manchester City winning at home. I don't know which of these results you want to talk about.
Arsenal away at Fulham. This was a venue that was always difficult for them in recent seasons, and it's played a role in affecting Arsenal's chances of winning the title. There were times where they needed wins against teams like this, and they let it slip, and it affected their points tally, and it affected their placing on the table. Before this game, Arsenal had actually struggled against Fulham in terms of away matches. Their last win there, as regards the Premier League, was a 3-0 win in 2026. Before then, their previous two visits had ended in Fulham beating them 2-1. And then also last two seasons, it was a 1-1 draw. So it was looking like it was a territory that offered the potential to slip for this Arsenal team. And I love how they've handled such opponents or such venues or such matches this season. The game against Newcastle, the St. James Grounds was also a haunted venue for the Arsenal team. Whenever they went there, they were either beaten fair and square or their best would have to do with a draw. This season, they went there, they pulled the chestnut out of the fire, and then they won. Then they've gone to Craven Cottage, also a venue that was looking like a banana skin for them, because whenever they stepped there, they slipped. And they've also been able to overcome it. And the beautiful aspect is that they kept a clean sheet as well. I think what it does is that it emboldens Arsenal's belief in terms of pushing forward. It also makes the players aware that the evidence is there, that they are righting the wrongs of yesteryears. They are overcoming the struggles that they had faced in previous times. And it emboldens them to push further and do what they are supposed to do. I think the fundamental thing about this Arsenal team is that their marquee buy in attack has not even hit the ground running. It's been some games that Victor Gyökeres has scored. He's not scored. He's not hit the ground running as expected. He's not been getting more consistent goals as expected. But they are finding goals in very different ways. And that variety that Arsenal offer in this context actually helped the cause. They scored again from a set piece. And that is positive. That is very good. It means that even in open play, when the transitions do not really favor them, they still find a way to win. And I love sides like this. And as Loss spoke about how teams were using long balls to score him in the lead up to the Manchester United game, and why he was not going to copy because they had a certain way of doing things. And I think he's wrong. In the modern game, there are fine margins that separate the winner from the loser. And you need to add certain aspects to your game. And even in the Liverpool team, the example is that in 2018, they went as far back as hiring a throw-in expert, someone who would teach them how to maximize throw-ins so that they will use the training to prevent them from conceding from such instances, and also have an advantage of the opponent when Liverpool have to attack using the throw-in mechanism. So I was very surprised to hear that from Arne Slot. And I don't think Arteta will care, because for a coach to have to go to the extent of hiring pickpockets to pick phones from his players just to teach them focus and concentration, I think Arteta will leave no stone unturned in making sure his Arsenal team are battle ready for the Premier League title challenge. And it is very good that they have been able to do this. They are the best defensive team in the league, and it is demonstrated by the consistency that has come from that department. So thumbs up to Arsenal. People will look at just the result on the face value and think, yes, it's against Poland and so on. But I think if you actually dive into the details, you would appreciate the extent Arsenal have gone to ensure they win games of this nature. That aside, I think Manchester City, they are still being carried by Erling Haaland's goals. And it is looking like when Haaland is fit and is on form, City don't really have to worry about conceding. And he showed up. He's the ultimate goal scorer, the primary predator in the Premier League. I don't think any other player does it better than he is. And across Europe, he's of a different make, but I think he teams up with other two attacking players who are doing excellently at their sides. In Germany, it's Harry Kane for Bayern. In Spain, it's Kylian Mbappe for Real Madrid. And I think Erling Haaland is actually that guy to catch for Premier League top scorer for this season. I think he's really fueling Manchester City's drive to the title. And the longer he stays fit and the more he stays consistent, I think it will really be to City's advantage that they will really be able to sustain this title chase and help teams to go further. For the Liverpool and Manchester United game, I think I kind of hinted to you that I was backing Manchester United. I said Liverpool's best will be a draw. If not you, then I was having a conversation with another person, and I said this, that whatever thing that Liverpool were going through, people just saw it as a blip. But there were underlying factors that meant that it was more of a consistent characteristic than something that just cleared. And that it had been playing out throughout the season. If people failed to notice, Liverpool were conceding goals from various ways. Open play, set pieces, or whatever. They were conceding goals, and it did not really look really good on them, because to be a credible title contender, to be the champion and you are defending your title, you should ooze some defensive solidity, which I did not really see in the Liverpool team. Their defense is in a state of anarchy. At a point in time, they are failing to do what they used to do right. That was last season. And this time around, they are also showing that, yes, they can create special moments, but they are also showing that they are allowing opponents to create special moments against them. And that is something that is affecting them. So prior to the game, I just look at this United attack, and I appreciated the fact that they were going to really trouble this Liverpool defense. Forget about what Liverpool have in attack, the Isak, the Kitikes, the Salles, but their biggest bane this season has been their midfield and also their defense. And without Alisson Becker, George Mamadashvili, yes, he's a solid goalkeeper, he's a solid shot-stopper, but if you wear him the Liverpool jersey, he doesn't really have that reputation, and he's still struggling to come to terms with what it takes to deliver for a side like Liverpool. Yesterday was his second Premier League game, and you don't really expect him to dominate in such instances. So I knew United were going to hell Liverpool, and I think Amorim is now trying to find a formula that works. In Mbeumo and Mason Mount as his double number 10, he gets 2 offensive-minded players who are also hard-working. So they can stay and then help in terms of the defensive work, and they can also push forward and attack at any given point in time. And Amorim surprised Arne Slot yesterday, I suppose, because in adding Matheus Cunha, it meant that all the three starting players in the forward areas for Manchester United were very mobile. They could progress or carry the ball, and then they would always cause problems for a leaky defense like the Liverpool setup. And kudos to Manchester United, they really applied themselves well. But then the first goal that Mbeumo scored, should it have been stopped? And that build-up should even have been stopped before it led to that cross from Amad Diallo. Because I think referees have been given that authority that whenever there is a head injury, they are supposed to stop play. And clearly it was evident, albeit it was Van Dijk's hand that elbowed Alexis McAllister. But it was clear it was a head injury. And the referee, in my opinion, should have stopped play. So in the lead up to the Manchester United goal, it was a bit controversial, but they would have to hail Mbeumo for the execution, praise Amad Diallo for the cross, and I think they applied themselves very well. But what was Ibrahim Konate doing? Why did he fail to step up and even try to block that attempt? It shows that Liverpool are a team that are defended very badly. Then Liverpool last season created special moments to win games. Even in this season, they created special moments to win games in the latter stages. But I think in yesterday's game, luck was not really on their side. For the Gakpo, hit the post like 3 times. Salah very profligate, missing chances when he shouldn't. And there was a whole lot. But let me ask this question, Nathan. Is Arne Slot really starting his best team? Or is he starting players based on reputation? Because I don't think Liverpool started their best team in my opinion.
And who do you think make up Liverpool's best team currently?
If Liverpool are looking for a striker to start out from for them, the evidence is there. It's Hugo Ekitike, not just because of the goals he scored, but he's an enabling facilitator. He allows the other players who are playing with him to come into the game. I think for Isak, one, he's not match ready. He's not fit enough to start from the goal because of his own excesses. What he did during the preseason, he didn't really have a solid preseason. He didn't really have a preseason, I must say. So it is not the Isak who was on top form last season for Newcastle. He will need to come to terms with the demands of the game now. So it is not really right to start him. And then two, for psychological reasons, I think Isak will be more worried about scoring than enabling his team to come into the game. And so he has 2 things that confront him that he has to contend with: scoring, and then 2, enabling those around him to play well. And when Isak is on form, these are the 2 things he does well. He enables the other players to do well, and then he scores himself. And Ekitike is a prototype of Isak. He has hit the ground running right from the start. He is available. Both players went on international duty, but Isak exerted more in terms of the energy than Ekitike did. So why don't you go with him right from the start? Make sure that you are getting the best out of your offensive players. So 1, the decision to start Ekitike did not pay off. 2, Mo Salah. We all know that this season hasn't been his season, and there are various reasons to explain why. I think Liverpool are really missing the services of Trent Alexander-Arnold. He is a player, but the role that he played were dual, and so he offered Liverpool more than the players available are doing. Trent could help Liverpool create from set play. He could help Liverpool create from wings, as he gave them that expansive option on the flanks, and then also from central areas. We are no longer seeing that because on the flanks now, Conor Bradley cannot give you what Trent was given, technically. Then Salah is struggling as a result. So he's not really having the best of seasons. So should Mo Salah start? And I don't know what Chiesa has done to Arne Slot, but every time Chiesa is offered an opportunity to play, he proves the coach wrong, that he has more to offer. He has enough in his tank that he can give. If you don't have Trent to give you that expansive play, that wide play, you have Chiesa to do that for you. He's a player who's so direct, can take opponents' defenders on, and he can send in crosses from there. So he gives you that kind of wide threat that you are missing, because Cody Gakpo wouldn't do that. He invert. Salah is not in the best of shape, and Salah naturally will love to invert, and then he will love a fullback playing with him to overlap and then create that wide option. So Salah should have done the right thing. Again, Dominic Szoboszlai is solid when he has to play there, but does he give you too many options in terms of offensive action? So you just let me limit it to the two in the attacking areas. One, Salah. Two, Isak. They shouldn't have started yesterday's game. Then at the right back, I don't think Conor Bradley should have started. Left back, I don't think Milos Kerkez should have started, because Kerkez is good, he's exciting, he's youthful as well. In games like this, you count on experience. And the experience of Andy Robertson would have been a bit more helpful. And I didn't see that. Again, in this game, we tried to stifle United's wing options. United are using wing backs. And it looks like Amad Diallo had a field day because he was not really stopped. He had enough time to create chances. He created the first goal from that instance. But if you have experienced players who knows what it takes to play in games like this, what they do is that they are able to thwart the options that are created. So in my opinion, I would have preferred to play someone like Dominic Szoboszlai as a makeshift right back, and then play Jeremy Frimpong ahead of him. Frimpong gives you that wide options. If you don't like Chiesa, Frimpong has several profiles. He can play as a winger, can play as a right side midfielder, and can also play as a right wing back. So if you put Dominic Szoboszlai there, the point is that when Liverpool are in possession, he asks up to the midfielders to help with the build-up. If they are without possession and they have to defend, you would have to cover for the shortfalls of someone like Frimpong on the right flank, and you are good to go. And I don't think Slot is playing his best team, and that is my issue. He's not coaching right. He's not selecting the right players. Maybe he's also showing his weakness that if you give him too many options, he gets a bit too much confused, and he doesn't know the right formula that works. And these are the things that we are seeing. But on the evidence of what we've seen with Liverpool so far, the level of coaching will need to improve. The players will also need to up their performance. And then overall, Liverpool are in a slump. And if I was a Liverpool fan, I would be more concerned. This is not just one of those results. I think this is a game that also underlines the fact that Liverpool will need to really deal with a lot of issues in their team. Other than that, they can kiss the title chase goodbye.
Well, we'll see. Very early yet, but Liverpool are beginning to experience some turbulence. After the game, Virgil van Dijk, said that they need to stay humble, they need to work hard and try and get out of this one. Michael, just 2 quick points from the Premier League, and then we can touch on La Liga, and just in a few minutes. We've got to head out in about 8 minutes. So Chelsea did put the nail in Ange Postecoglou's coffin. He was sacked after losing that game at home to Chelsea. Sean Dyche, according to reports from England, has agreed verbally to become the new Nottingham Forest boss. Just your take on that game. Chelsea's substitutions managed to give Chelsea an extra dimension to power them to the win. And then where Nottingham Forest go from here?
Play without Cole Palmer, and they are getting the best out of the other players. And people will have to appreciate their squad depth now. I think it really helps to get things going for them. Josh Echampon, beautiful that he got his first goal. I think he stepped up. And in the face of challenges, he's the one that has emerged, and he's really doing a good job. And he's repaying the faith that the manager had in him. And it was only good that he got that goal. But I think the fundamental issue is that Chelsea won, but yet there was a red card. And Chelsea will need to find ways to curb the player in discipline. Malo Gusto's second yellow card, for instance, excuse me to say, but it was senseless. And he would need to really work on himself. But it's not just him. It runs through almost every Chelsea player. They have the penchant for getting very petulant at a point and attracting needless cards. They say that they are needlessly arguing or dissenting against a certain referee's decision, and they are booked when it shouldn't have been the case. And they will need to do something about it. But I think the club can start to institute measures to curb this. When players are fined heavily, when it is established that they could have done better in such instances. For instance, if you find Malo Gusto his entire weekly wage and then even his winning bonus, he would think twice next time in going into Saturdays because it's needless. You wonder why they do and what they think before they do such stuff. And it needs to change. They are not paying for it. They did not pay for it, in the game against Nottingham Forest, but they pay for it against Manchester United. They will pay for it again when it gets to crunch, and I think it needs to stop. For Nottingham Forest, clearly, why did Marinakis appoint Edu? Because the appointment of Sean Dyke does not really look like an Edu appointment, honestly. It is a Marinakis appointment. If you have a sporting director and you still go ahead to take these decisions, it tells you of the monopoly at Nottingham Forest and why he actually is the reason they are in this position. His decision to fire, his decision to bring on Postecoglou, in as much as players were not so and I think it is time that the owner understands, but it is difficult when you have rich owners who have a certain way of doing things and it's proved very successful for them. It has worked at Olympiacos. It has worked in his businesses. He's a very rich businessman. So he feels he can do it anywhere and it will work for him. Hopefully, let's see what happens. But I think he's actually the one that is affecting Nottingham Forest negatively. And if he's not careful, he will destroy everything that the team has done good in the past few years, and it will go against him.
We'll see. Michael, just quickly, let's just touch on La Liga. The big two winning. Real Madrid needed a late goal from Kylian Mbappe to win at Getafe. Barcelona needed a late winner from Araujo to win at home to Girona in the league. Your quick thoughts on that, and then we'll wrap it up this morning.
Ada Güler and then Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe is the biggest superstar Real Madrid have signed after Cristiano Ronaldo. No other player comes. And this season is season. I don't think anybody can stop him. When Mbappe is on a run, he's actually a difficult player to play against. And he's in that form. It looks like he's ready. And people were expecting that the successes of PSG and the individual success of Dembele would actually put Mbappe down. But I think he's used it as a necessary fuel to drive throughout this season. It looks like a man on a mission. And I pray that he sustains this, goes through the season with this. Real Madrid wins something. He also will be in a position to win some of these individual awards. So excellent form. The only player, apart from Ronaldo, to hit double figures for goals in his first 9 matches at the start of the season. And it only shows that he has that character, he has that temperament to lead them. Ada Güler, I think Ancelotti did him bad last season. But again, in the face of adversity, he's also learned from it. And when he's been offered an opportunity, he stepped up. He's a midfielder in the La Liga with the most goals and assist involvement. He's a midfielder and assist with the most forward or progressive passes. Clearly, it tells you that he's thriving in the role that Alonso is using him, and it's really paying off. I love how Madrid are playing in the lead up to the Clásico, but I'm more concerned for Barcelona for how they are playing in the lead up to the Clásico. Yes, the injuries are part to explain why they are not getting the best out of their players, but I think Barcelona have become too predictable, and opponents are finding ways to try and they stifle the threat that they do possess. If they don't work things out, if Hansi Flick does not get a plan B, it will really get to him. I was happy to see Araujo being thrown into the game as an option. So that looked like a plan B for me. But Flick will need to be consistent with it. Just as he did for the offensive actions in this game, I think he needs to also find a plan B to play in defensively. The high line is not working. And I think it is... I think he needs to realize this soon enough to work on it before he meets opponents who really punish him for that. It happened in the game against PSG. Lessons will need to be learned. Hansi Flick needs to understand. But at times, it is not just about the application from the players. At times, too, the principles of play will need to be altered to let your team get results, judging by situations that prevail or conditions that exist. And he needs to learn that to help his team. So, good for Real Madrid, but a bit more concerned for Barcelona.
Well, the two teams meet in the Clásico in the coming weekend, so I'm sure we'll speak a bit more about that. Michael, let's wrap it up with the Under-20 World Cup final Ghana has got company now. We are no longer the only African team to have won it. Our Moroccan brothers have joined the train. They beat Argentina by 2-0. Yasser Zabiri's 2 first half goals. The difference, or the goals made the difference, as Morocco won their very first Under 20 World Cup, and the very first time they've won a competition that has been organized by FIFA. Wonderful achievement for the Moroccans, right? They went into a final against the team, or the country I call the owners of the Under 20 World Cup, 6-time winners Argentina, and they beat them by 2-0.
Yeah, I think they needed this, and they deserve this as well, because this has been 2 years of hard work, massive investment, and then working with a plan that is much more feasible. Morocco knows that they don't really produce the best of talent, and they can't really rely on the local talent. So they will have to fall on the diasporans, players who are of Moroccan descent but born elsewhere. And if you look through their squad, they had such players in there. Their goalkeeper, Yanis Benahouch, he was born in France. He plays for Monaco's youth sides. And in fact, 12 of their players play for foreign teams. Some play in the Netherlands. Ismail Baouf, he plays for Cambor. He was born in the Netherlands. And they have to rope him on board their youth football project. So this is what they are doing and doing right. I think it is a clear footballing policy that if there is any Moroccan out there, whether in Morocco or outside Morocco, they will try and then reach out to the player and then sell their footballing project to the player at a very young age. If the player so agrees, they will bring him on board and then make sure that he plays. And it is working for them even at a senior level. With the players that we are seeing, the likes of Brahim Diaz, they brought on board Elias Akumak at a point in time. It is paying off. And for the under 20, they did something.
This is Sporty.
A group of talented locals, young Moroccan-based footballers, blended them with players who are playing for sides in Europe or players who were born in Europe, and then they've blended them into the scene. And they look so solid. They play so well. They are playing with typical Moroccan DNA. They understand what it takes, and they are doing a solid job at that. So they deserve to be here. The player who scored the 2 goals yesterday, that is Zabiri.
Yeah.
He plays outside Morocco.
Yeah. Plays in Portugal for Famalicão.
Exactly. He comes in with his own experience to bear. And look at how he handled the occasion. The first goal, for instance. So clearly, you would have to give Morocco that credit. They've invested. They've run a footballing project that has paid off for them. Check. In the last decade,
Sporty FM.
Just international football. Their senior team made the World Cup semi-final an African first. They placed 4th. Their Olympic team won a bronze medal at the last Olympic Games. Their under 20 have just won a FIFA tournament, the first in Moroccan football history that the Moroccan national side has won a FIFA international trophy. Clearly, they are getting there. They are seeing results of their hard work. It has not come easy, but they've been very patient and persistent. They have not yielded to pressure. Oh, we've invested a lot and we are not seeing the results. We are seeing the results now. And check, they are doing this with local coaches. Walid Regragui is a local coach. The coach who took them to this tournament, Mohamed Ouabi, is a local coach. The Olympic coach as well was a local. They are getting things right. And it is an example for the rest of Africa to follow. It is something that we need to embrace. If we have 10 African countries being serious and committed to football like Morocco has been, I think African football will change and become better. Then we can go on to the international stage and equally rub shoulders with the best of the international football scene. Morocco have led the way. They are now the trailblazers. The rest can follow. They have a project that works for them. It is accustomed to how they want to play. I'm not saying everybody should go and copy Morocco by going for players who were born abroad, because the players who are even born abroad, why they are coming is that they are committed. And the commitment that shows is that they believe in the Moroccan project. If we are going to get diasporans, do they believe in the football project that we are running? If we are going to stick to local coaches because Morocco is doing the same, Do we have local coaches who are up to that standard? Have we built their capacity well enough? These are the questions we should be asking ourselves. So don't just copy blind the entire Moroccan project. Learn lessons from them. And the general ones you can learn is commitment, investment, and first and foremost, have a plan that is feasible, a plan that works. And I think Morocco has shown that if you do that, results or success will not be far from you. So kudos to them. Excellent results that they've been able to achieve. Even on the continental stage, check. They won the CHAN. And they've won the CHAN on 3 occasions in this instance. So credit. I think they've done really, really well.
Wonderful. Congrats to Morocco on getting themselves the Under-20 World Cup crown. So 16 years ago, Ghana did that in the month of October. The Moroccans have now won theirs in the month of October. All right, before we wrap it up, we'll cross over to the Alisa Hotel. Abigail Sena-Susu is there. And there's a press conference that's going to be organized by the GFA. Now, the Black Queens will be taking on England. England's Lionesses in a friendly on the 2nd of December at the St. Mary's Stadium in Southampton. Abigail Sena-Susu is there at the press conference, and she joins us to give us a bit of a brief report as to what exactly is happening there and what people should expect from that press conference. Abigail, thank you so much for joining us once again. Where exactly are you and what is happening there?
Yes, good morning, and thank you for having me. So I'm here at the Alisa Hotel in Accra, the Asante Hall, to be specific. And like you rightly mentioned, the Black Queens of Ghana will take on the Lionesses of England later, December 2, 2025, in a friendly in England. And so I think that on the back of what one can say has been a good year for the Queens to climax it this way, I think the leadership and also the forerunners of women's football in the country just saw it wise to brief the press as to exactly what the process will look like, and have to also find a way to usher in the 2025-2026 Women's Premier League season as well. So we'll get to hear from key speakers when it comes to the women's game. There's Honorable Betty Crosby-Mensah from the political angle, the ministry's point of view. There's Naudo Foley. She's a lawyer, but it looks like from 2018 when she got onto the normalization committee, it looks like she's come to stay with football some way, somehow, and being a woman and championing her light in her own way. She's also here. She'll also be able to speak to the press. And Amma Williams, so is also leading the path when it comes to women's football at the Ghana Football Association, as well as Madame Babayanka, who is in charge of women's football at the FA, is also here. So we'll get to hear from a host of our women trying to lead the force for us when it comes to the women's game, and also tell us what exactly this friendly means to women's football, and I think specifically the Black Queens going forward. Remember, they are in Egypt already. I'm sure they left Ghana yesterday night, going for that qualifier. We were by for the first and second rounds, so we get to play Egypt home and away, and possibly get back to WAFCON again after picking up that bronze in the just ended edition. So it looks like it is still in that same line, and we hope that how it has continued for Ghana and the Black Queens, especially this year, this will also propel the senior women's national team to a higher level in years to come. So it's a part of that this press conference is being organized, and I can see my colleagues from various media houses stripping in one after the other. Pretty soon it should start, and then we'll get talking.
All right, Abigail, thank you so much for that brief report. So listeners, we'll be on the lookout for that. We'll be giving you more updates in our bulletins, so check our socials and all for all the latest from that press conference. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the Sporty Breakfast. My name is Nathan Kwao. I got great support from Abigail Sena-Susu and Michael Asari-Boedu. Thank you so much for your calls and messages. Thank you to my production team, Immortal Kwame Jakwe Champon, Flyboy Nima Emmanuel Ayamga, my DJ Fidelis, and the entire team. We'll catch you later. Keep your doors locked on Sporty FM. There's the new